the problem is they're getting 1,000 leads in, they're converting at 7%. We need to think about more about what we're burning, not what we're selling.
Yes.
Now, if you've got better tools that with the video and you can up that to 20%, guess what? You don't need so many leads.
Welcome to the Strategy with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of The Drive. I am here in beautiful, sunny Tampa, Florida, with the one, the only, Mr. Brent Williams. Brent, what's up? How you doing?
Good.
Good to see you, man.
Liking this electric Porsche into this toucan. It's really nice.
What, toucan or Taycan?
Taycan, toucan.
Tomato.
Exactly. How do you want to pronounce it?
I mean, I get to have a lot of fun when I do these drives, and I always try to find an opportunity to take something fun out. And I had an opportunity to borrow this Porsche Taycan, and man, this thing is cool. This is really cool. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time. I know you're busy, and I appreciate you taking the time to come jam with me. For everybody out there watching and listening right now, and maybe don't know much about you or kind of how you got started in the business, I love kicking off these podcasts with a little origin story, because I'm always fascinated, because I don't think anybody wakes up one day and goes, I'm going to be in the automotive industry. So let's start with that. How did you get started in this crazy little world we call the automotive industry?
Well, obviously it's not in the US, but back in the UK, I used to sell cars, and I built up from there to fleet manager and a regional manager for a big group that was the largest group for Nissan, actually, in London, on the west side of London. And eventually I took over as a managing director of one of London's largest motor groups. And I went from there. And, I see a need for product, having 45 salespeople myself, knowing the pains and the tribulations and the baggage and everything that comes with salespeople. I see an opportunity, and my heart had always been to get out to the States somehow. The UK market weren't where I really wanted to work. We do work in the UK market, but US is our main concentration, really.
So how did you come up with the idea behind SnapCell? Was it just wake up one morning and it was like, yes, video is the future of automotive engagement?
No, I went to this big group, and we were turning over around about 60 million sterling, and there was a lot of work to be done. Obviously, a lot of culling, if you like, and thinning out the business, etc. But I see a big opportunity that, giving the people to humanise part of the dealership before they come to the dealership, because a lot of people are still scared to come in dealerships, especially ladies. It's a very daunting place.
It can be intimidating.
It can be very intimidating. They don't know what to expect. So we started, I'm talking about 10, 12 years ago now, started sending videos to our customers, and we see a 15% lift in business. We did take that business within 6 years from 60 million to 130 million sterling. And video was a big impact on that. And during that time, I was like, video's good, but it needs to have a little bit more interaction with the customer, like call to action buttons.
Yeah.
How many people don't know where your store is, don't know how to get there, click of a button straight to Google Maps, etc. And then we just progressed from there. It was a very basic solution we had at the beginning, and I'm sure a lot of people listen to your podcast and know us, have seen us develop over the years.
Well, I love the fact that you bring up humanizing the experience, right? I mean, over the last few years, we saw digital retailing just explode, and I think the original thought behind digital retailing, and people are going to go online and they're going to buy cars online, and they don't want to have to deal with people, and we come to find out that no, digital retailing is more of a process. We still want to have a one-on-one human connection, and for an industry that maintains over 80% of our engagement back to our customers is with an email, black and white text just doesn't really cut it. I mean, I don't get to hear the person, or I don't get to see them, I don't get to see the tonality, I don't get a feeling for their intent to want to serve me. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, video was a big part of my success as a salesperson, so it makes sense as an industry to continue to move that. Now, where do you kind of see the future of kind of engagement overall You know,
I see a lot of elements in what you're saying. That's probably one of the reasons why I started this business. It doesn't matter how we cut this. People don't trust car salesmen. They don't trust estate agents. They don't trust salesmen at all. So they want to be sold to from a little bit of a distance. And I think a website proved that. You know, that people wanted more information before they come to a car dealership. Hence, in the last 20 years, we have actually seen the internet come up, and the whole way we sell is not by newspapers anymore.
yes.
You know, so this is just a natural progression of moving forward. We had chat in the early days that was a little bit start and stop, but now everyone has chat on their websites. But in the future, you know, the last 2 years has been really, really good for the car dealerships. I like to call it the golden times, because even though the inventory's been low, there's been a lot of money in the front end on the metal.
100%. Yeah,
on
the
these cars.
the gross per unit's been huge
And
historically.
fair play to the car dealers. They've made the money and everything else. But I know, as an owner of a business, you don't want your profits and everything to go down. Okay, and inventory's coming back slowly. There's a little bit of storm coming around the corner for us with potential recessions and stuff, and it's going to get a little bit more difficult. So the times of people coming in to buy a car, and I bought one myself during this time with the hands up, it's going to get harder. The hands up is not going to be that easy no more. I know when I was a car salesman, I think.
So you didn't negotiate at all?
Well, I negotiated, but I'll probably have one hands up out of every 100 people, not 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's what we're changing right now. And so at Snapsell, we obviously we have the walk around videos, we have the live video, we have the automated videos, you know, everything to come into one to bring that communication more direct to the customer. Just think about it. If you go and buy something yourself, and you're buying a jacuzzi, for example, you don't just look at the picture online and buy it. What do? You go to YouTube or something like that. You look for the video.
I want to hear people's opinions and ones that own it and stuff.
Reviews, etc. Hence why we've got video testimonials coming within the next 2 weeks to go on your websites. People trust buyers.
Yes.
You know, what is the first link with a customer about a dealership or a car? Have you shopped there before? What are they like? Do they treat you okay, etc.? And I think sometimes we have to remember it's the buying journey that's changed, not the sales process.
No, I'm with you. In fact, I think the sales process is dead. You know, I think what we're looking now is we're looking at a buying experience. You know, customers don't want to fit into a 12-point process. They want to know that they can purchase it in any way that they feel comfortable. You know, if I want to do 70% of the work before I come into the dealership, great. If I want to do 10%, great. If I want to do 100%, there's a few out there. I mean, the last one I did was 100% online, but I mean, in the industry, it was a replacement for the same vehicle. So, you know, it was easy for me to do that. But, you know, as an industry, we're always talking about how, you know, we're a people, process, and technology industry. And that's how we generate an experience for our customers. The combination of our people, process, and our technology. Where do you see, I want to start with people. I'm going to dive a little deeper down this rabbit hole because I like finding rabbit holes and going down them. On the people side, what do you think of today's salespeople versus what they're going to look like 5 years from now? Where's the future of the people in the business?
They've got to put more effort in. I can tell you, like you just said, you bought your last car 100% online. I've bought my last 6. And in between that 6, I went in a car dealership on number 6, okay, which took me 2 attempts to buy, and the experience, I am not going to go into it, but was the worst buying experience I've had in my life. And I was buying a 50k car, and I was treated like maybe I'm buying a newspaper. And would I go back there again? Well, no, because I cancelled my order and I went and bought that car with someone else online. I didn't go to a dealership after that.
Gotcha.
This dealership I even went to, I told the guy exactly what I wanted. I told him I didn't want to quibble on price. He couldn't even build the car for me. In the end, I walked out and said, I'll go home, I'll build it online and send you a PDF. I sent him a PDF. 1 o'clock next day, I said, did you get the PDF? He said, I haven't opened my emails yet. That is someone who's not going to be in sales forever because it just won't work.
But I hate to say it, well, I'll start with this disclaimer. There are some amazing people in our industry that do a phenomenal job of generating an experience. But on the other hand, I still think that there's a majority of the industry, because they're coming off the last couple of years of it just being so easy, that training, the coaching, the process, the people, and even in the people themselves, they're not putting a lot of emphasis, into the overall experience. Our family vehicle needed to be replaced, and driving a Nissan Armada, and so I was like, all right, we're going to go something bigger this time. We're going to go a Suburban, which is like one of the hardest vehicles when we were shopping at the time. One of the hardest vehicles you can find in the entire country was a Suburban Z71 package, right? Like, just hardest one out there to find. I submitted probably 10, form fills, saying, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for. If you got it, or if I need to order it, just please get back to me. I had 2 of them actually get back to me. And, by the time I got talking to them, there was such this nonchalant of, it'll be here in a year, whatever, something along that lines. Got to the point where I got frustrated. I asked my wife, I said, do you think we can make this car last 1 more year? She's like, yeah, I think so. So then I went and ordered a Rivian RS1, or R1S, the all-electric SUV, because it was just so easy. Now, here's the funny thing. Since I just did that like 4 weeks ago, I get daily emails from Rivian right now, because they want me to be connected to the brand as I wait for the next year for my car to be built. Like that's an amazing process. So, I think sometimes there are ways that maybe our people, you think of like dealerships, you have your A salespeople, then you have your level B salespeople, then you have your level C salespeople, and you just never know who you're going to get. But I think we can make up that experience with process, but I'd like to get your thoughts.
That's true. There is people out there that are sales machines. I'm going to tell you a stat now that will probably shock you. The biggest users in Snapcell are 40 years of age plus.
Wow.
Now,
That's
you wouldn't believe
me.
that, would you? You speak to dealers and they go, well, our staff are quite old. I don't think they'll use this. But a good salesman will use anything they've got. And if it improves sales, they will use it. And we've got plenty of proven facts from people that are in their 60s saying this is the best tool I've had in my whole career of selling cars.
Wow.
So it does make a difference. As far as leads are coming in, I mean, we have a process where a lead comes into us and we can send a video straight to the customer when the lead comes in. And what you're doing is basically, which you can't just do with an email or website, you can build the customer's expectations before they come. Hello, Mr. Customer, thank you for your inquiry, our open hours are etc. Or if it's in the day, please give us at least 1 hour to 2 hours to contact you back due to COVID regulations, etc. or whatever. Then you're building the customer's expectations, even down to we're going to welcome you, we're going to offer you refreshments, we're going to value your part exchange, we're going to give you your best finance options, we are a company to deal with, look at our reviews, etc. That goes a long way with the customer, because straight away they've been contacted to. Let's be honest, a video, they say, says 1.8 million words compared to a response, thank you for your inquiry, we'll come back to you as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And that is the difference. I'll give you another example on the automation side. We integrate with a lot of the e-commerce omni-channels. When someone buys a car, for example, at night, and they spend 50, 60,000, they expect a phone call at 9 o'clock in the morning. That don't always happen. Now, that ain't always the dealer's fault. Because a dealer, because I come from the car business, is very reactive. Something comes up and you have to deal with it. But we send videos out to customers. Thank you, Mr. Customer, for purchasing your car. We really treat you as a valued customer. We will come back to you by the end of the working play tomorrow. We're just going through with the finance manager, etc. Check your car's all right and everything else. You've built the customer's expectations.
Yes.
So straight away, the journey's a good one, not a bad one.
Yes. Well, see, that we can process, I think, the reactiveness out of the experience, and I think I look at automation. I think this is the year of automation. I think anybody out there that's watching and listening right now, if they're not utilizing some form of automation in their engagement, they're really truly missing the boat, because it keeps me connected. I'm getting these automated messages right now from Rivian about new and exciting and fun stuff, so I can get excited about it. But I feel connected to the brand in a way, like so much so, like I ordered a hat for Christmas. And I'm like, yeah, I told my wife, I'm like, this is what I want for Christmas. Give me one of these Rivian hats, But it all comes down to process, right?
Well, I mean, who's a good product that does this very well? Amazon always keeps you updated, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. There you go. Perfect example.
They keep you updated all the time, and imagine at the moment you keep your customers updated, but it's not automated. Maybe it's an hour, 30 minutes longer than what you expected, etc. Let me give you a perfect example of this, and we do this already. A service department. Someone makes a booking online for a service. You send out a video of their expectations, where to come in the dealership when they arrive. Might be their first experience.
What are those
if
next
they're
steps?
waiting, there's a great coffee area for them to have drinks, and maybe there's some snacks, etc. there for them. But what about when the car goes into the workshop, or the technician's pulled over the RO on Snapcell? They get an automated video, go, your car has now gone into the workshop. Please be prepared for any information we may send you, or a video if there's any repairs necessary,
See,
etc.
that makes me feel connected to the
You're
process.
building expectations. The customer's expecting it to come. So what you're doing is you're building a process with the customer, with a bond, a journey experience that they can't replace just by not being contacted or a text. And like you said, not everyone does it bad. There's plenty of people out there that do it really good, but why can't we do it better?
Oh, 100%. And I think, by really focusing on our people and our process, it removes the reactiveness that we have. And it's like, the only way we're going to become proactive is we process our way to proactive.
Well, the problem is we're all human. We all have bad days.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Look, there's going to be inconsistent. I would say I was probably as a salesperson, probably one of the best people at follow-up, but I still wasn't 100%.
And listen, I can tell you, this is when you got a great salesperson. I had a salesperson that worked for me. Actually does my job now because I mentored him over the years. Okay, but this guy, he would sell 40 cars every month religiously. People would come in on his day off, and they'll go, Spencer there. We go, I'm afraid he's off on a day off today. I go, so one of the other guys help you, and they'll go, Spencer's not here, I'm not buying a car. That tells you a salesman that cares, because if they had a problem, he would pick up that problem. He'd go to the service department. He wouldn't just pass them to the service department. He'd sort it out. He'd even go and pick up their car if he had to, because
100%.
His customers was his pot of gold.
Yeah.
A bit like us as vendors, our customers to dealerships are our pot of gold, and the dealerships, for example, their customers are buy their cars at their pot of gold. And we've got to remember, the biggest thing about car dealership is retention, whether it's in sale or the service.
And when we think of retention, I think the retention strategies have gotten, I must say, a little loose, I would say, in the last couple of years. We definitely have gotten loose in our acquisition because our inventory sells no matter what. But, talk about it, the best time for retention is right now. This is the time that, all right, fine, you may not be able to get them out of a vehicle right now, but, you have that conversation with them. I have a Mercedes dealership. I was doing some consulting work with them, and they're like, okay, well, we're calling clients and we're trying to get them out of their leases and into a new vehicle. So I'm like, okay, so this is an acquisition strategy, right? And I said, well, how about you just flip it and turn it into a retention strategy? They go, what do you mean? I said, I want you to call them and tell them not to buy a car right now. Don't worry about it. Don't buy a car right now. Okay, it's not a good time to do it. Prices are this, inventory is low, so on and so forth. But I'm gonna call you back in a few months, all right? And we're gonna put your order in then. Is that cool with you? They thought I was crazy when I told them this process. They're like, no, that's never gonna work. I said, guys, just give me 1 week, just 1 week. I wanna see what happens. And the first week, they had so many positive conversations, they decided to commit to the process.
So what I see on retention, again, we have this, it's possible to send out videos 6 months before, especially a lease or a new car is up for renewal, without relying on the salesperson to do it. Listen, I've had salespeople myself, and I can tell you now, you give them a list and you'll go back and go, how's the list going? I've been really busy today, I've only called one person. Again, they may be busy, but you want something that's more concrete, okay? So on retention, think about that. We know you make good money on these used cars, but they've been overvalued, and then values are going to start decreasing. Okay.
We're starting to see it a little bit. I mean, there's some markets not so much, but yeah.
I'm a 99% sure on this. A lot of them people in them used cars are what I would call welded to those cars for a longer distance than what they would have done in a normal environment.
100%.
But if you bought a new car, you're in a good position to change again.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a good position to change again because you bought the car not overpriced. The car is actually going to be worth a little bit more than maybe it was before.
Yeah.
So going back out with automated retention on the new car customers that are going to come up next year, the year after, and the year after that is where in sales for sure, that's where the money's going to be.
Oh, huge.
In my opinion, people may argue with me in that, but
No, but you have to start having those conversations now to be prepared for what's to come. I mean, I was actually just working with a group and I was reviewing some of their CRM data and then I got into inventory just completely by accident, and I was just looking at how many days on lot and what kind of dollar amounts were in some of these vehicles. And I was like, whoa! If we don't do something about it now, you're going to have a problem 9 months from now.
Well, going back to when I run that group before, okay, that was one of the problems when I went in there. They had a lot of overage stock.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew at that stage I had to sell quite a lot of that at loss, because if I don't, it's going to just be more and more money, and I'm never going to sell more cars, because I need to change that into cars that can sell. Because the way I used to value a car, I didn't pick up any books or anything like that, blue books or anything. In UK they call glasses and cap, okay, and value a car. I'll go on Auto Trader. If you're going to sell that car, you need to be on the first page. And I'd look at the car and then I'd write and value that car backwards from what you sell it for. So I know if I'm on the first page, I'm going to sell cars. I was selling between 7,000 and 9,000 cars a year.
Wow.
Retail, not business, not fleet, retail to the end user. So I know there's some method in my madness when I think like that.
Well, I mean, my concern right now is that we're getting married to these large gross profit per transaction, and we're not taking deals that we should be taking now. We're holding on to stuff. No. I can still get those. I can still get that big dollar amount. It's coming. I'm just concerned. I think there's some dealer groups I know right now are being proactive about it and are already starting to mark down some of their vehicles so they can move them. But some people get romantic. They get romantic about the cars.
Well, they do. I know there'll be some real top operators out there that know they've written into their financials next year probably higher write-downs than what they've normally had in the last 6-7 years to compensate for that. Okay, but it doesn't change the fact that if I own these dealerships, I wouldn't want my profit margins to go down, and I know these owners won't want their profit margin to go down, and fair play to them. I don't blame them. I think exactly the same way. And to do that, you're going to have to do more to sell a car.
100%.
And if you don't have more engagement with the customers, using videos, for example, or humanizing that experience, I think you'll find it tough.
I think it's gonna be really tough. Look, I know we went a little bit on a rabbit hole over there, but that's fine. I think if we go back to kind of our people, process, and now technology, let's talk a little bit about technology, because I don't know about you, but I feel like there's kind of been a fundamental shift lately on the way dealerships are approaching technology in a very, very, very positive way. I mean, I remember, let's say 5-8 years ago, a dealership would have this widget and that widget and this widget and that widget, and they could have 5-10 different widgets that, $500 here, $200 there, $500 there, $750 there, and none of them communicate with each other. I see dealerships now are demanding more out of their technology, but I'd love to get your thought.
Listen, I see one thing. We've all been looking at this in the news, and that's about Carvana. It's sad if they go bankrupt for the people that are employed there, because at the end of the day, the people are going to lose their livelihoods, right? But as a car dealership, what people didn't realise was the average car dealer groups, Carvana didn't think they'll catch up with them so quick. And I think COVID has killed Carvana, because they were on their own originally, selling online pretty much. No one really bought into it. The car dealerships have done a great job by picking that up pretty quickly. And now Carvana ain't selling so many cars because they can go to any dealer they want and buy it online. They can get it delivered. A lot of them are offering their money back after a certain amount of days, etc. So they've moved their tech on so much during this time because they've had to. I mean, COVID's a perfect example. They had to go virtual with their customers to sell to people, but they were selling plenty of cars without people coming in the dealership. That's proven.
100%. I think dealerships now, I call this So when I think of a dealership, I think of all the different technologies that they're using. I like to reference what I call it the dealership stew. You know, I got a CRM here, I got a dash of a website here, I have my video app over here, I have my engagement platform over here, I have text servicing, all these different things, right? And it all kind of comes up with a stew. I like stews. I don't know if you like stews, but I do. But you know what? The stew, they all have pretty much the same ingredients, but it's how you kind of mix it all together and make it work is what makes it taste really good. And I find dealerships are becoming more and more aware of how their technology stew is tasting, not only for themselves from an operations perspective, but also how does it taste to their customers. You know, I made this commitment to this company, to this company, this company, this company, this company. I created my tech stack. I call it the stew, but I created this tech stack. How does that taste to my customers? And I would like to get your thoughts on how do you think that's going to change over the next few years?
Well, obviously, we know that the less there is that can do the job, the happier they're going to be.
Yes.
There ain't no ifs and buts about that. But sometimes you can't replace quality with someone else who's got a product because it's in one dashboard that does quite the same thing. Unfortunately, that world is never going to happen. We know there's, not going to mention any names, but there's plenty of CRMs out there thinking, oh, that works well, let's try it. And they make a basic, what I like to say, it's like buying a basic bread and butter car and having a Rolls Royce. You know, what do you want to use when you sell to your customers? A Rolls Royce? Or what do you want to use something that's just bread and butter, just gets the job done? And just getting the job done isn't always the way. I'll give you a perfect example. Okay, here at Snapcell, we use Outlook.
Yep.
We have Microsoft Teams. We don't use it. We use Zoom because it's a better product. It gives a better experience to the customer. It's more reliable. We know with that it's going to be a better experience right through for the customer. So I know they want to reduce. Their products and different things, but that don't always work. But they're going to have a general set they need. They're always going to need a CRM.
100%.
They're always going to need a DMS. And we do work worldwide, and believe it or not, there's countries that don't even use a CRM even now. Okay, they are going to 100% need a website as well. They're going to need their chat widgets, and they're going to need video as well. It's going to be part of their stack, and they want something on reviews. You know, we have all the data tools, and they all do a great job, everyone, the vendors, etc. But the problem is they're getting 1,000 leads in, they're converting at 7%. We need to think about more about what we're burning, not what we're selling.
Yes.
Now, if you've got better tools that with the video and you can up that to 20%, guess what? You don't need so many leads.
No, I agree with you. I think I definitely have been talking with a lot of dealerships and coaching them on, you know, like we need to stop counting leads and we need to start counting how many conversations we're having.
It's what we lose.
100%. Because we don't sell, you can't sell a lead, but you have an opportunity to create a relationship and a conversation and ultimately make a sale.
My question would be this, whether it's an owner, a general manager, a sales manager, a GSM or whatever. If you got 10 leads, would you rather they all converted to a sale, or would you rather only one converted to a sale? Because what all you're doing really is being busy fools.
Yep.
That's the bottom line of it. So I've always worked on that. I've always worked on it's not what I'm selling. Even if I'm having phenomenal time, whether it's with Snapcell or whether it's with, you know, in the car industry. You know, Snapcell's been in the Inc. 5000 this year, and we're in the Inc. 500. We're in the magazine and everything. And we didn't make that growth by losing sales. And we definitely haven't got the kind of leads that car dealerships get, but we work on those leads and we work with them properly because we don't want to be busy fools. We want to make partnerships. We want to make sure that that's right for the dealer, etc. And that's what you got to think. You got to think, well, how do we change our process? We've got 1,000 leads coming in. Then 1,000 leads, for argument's sake, it's costing us $1,000. We could reduce that to 700 leads, and it's costing us only $700, and we could get this product and convert more. The salespeople are going to have more free time to spend more time with the customers because we all know selling a used car, I don't know the stats on this right now, if I'm honest, but you know, I'll go from the UK from when I done it. Selling a used car takes 45 minutes to an hour. Selling a new car takes 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Sure.
Okay. But that allows them, and they're going to need this, more time to spend with the customer. That used car's 45 minutes, you're going to spend an hour and a half on that. Because you're
easy.
going to have to do some videos and everything else.
Yep.
You're going to have to spend a little bit more time to get your money. And this is why what you have to do is just fine tune what you've got. And leads are paramount coming in, I agree. But there's no point having 930 leads that you've worked on, made phone calls, which is all it costs, and then all the time it's taken to contact them because we're not handled them correctly. The truth is, if you're not handled them correctly, you've got too many leads.
Oh, well, exactly. And that really does sum up kind of what we're talking about: people, process, and technology, right? And it's like when we really spend our time in crafting out strategies around those three, all right, documenting real processes around our operations, then I don't care what's coming. We're gonna handle the storm no matter what.
You will if you've got the right process in place. You bring in the leads, you nurture them leads more. Ideally, if you've got 1,000 leads, you might need more salespeople.
Yes,
Okay,
true.
so you deal with them correctly. But it's very hard to get decent people right now. And when this storm comes, I think there's going to be quite a lot of people out there that don't turn into the salespeople that people thought they were during the time when it's not been a difficult time to sell, really. You know, when I've spoken to dealers buying a car, well, take it or leave it, because we'll sell it anyway.
Yep.
I mean, well, you feel welcome.
Oh yeah, that feels like an amazing experience.
It sounds like you had the same experience.
Oh yeah, I definitely had the same experience. Well, look, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our conversation. I'm sure we can jam about this a bit more, and because we're headed right into a traffic jam, which is perfect timing. But for everyone out there watching and listening right now, and would like to connect with you, and maybe learn a bit more about Snapcell, even follow along with your journey. Since I know you have a new TikTok account, Twitter.
Well, I've got a new Twitter account called CEO Connects. I think that's the name of it, according to our mark. Head of social, but
Shout out.
We can come back to you on that. But listen, I'm on LinkedIn anyway, so you can just connect to me and ask me a question.
Awesome.
Remember, all these things are just my view. Your view. Everyone has different views, but we've got to be prepared. Just like as Snapcell, I'm preparing if a storm comes in for myself.
Yep.
So I have to prepare, and you got to know what you're doing, and now's the time to do it. While the sun's shining, get it done.
That's the time
when
to
the
prepare.
rain comes, it's too late, because then you got to get it in. You got to train people and everything else, and you've lost 6 or 9 months.
Just got to be reactive. Hey, Brent, thank you, man, so much
Good
for
speaking.
taking the time jamming. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Don't want to miss new content? Be sure to check out the full podcast library at strategywithjason.com to stay in the know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy podcasting.